Hello there, welcome to this English lesson. Today we are going to learn how to make and answer questions in English. It is very important to know how to make and answer questions in English because this way you will have a smooth conversation and not just always answering what others are asking. So let's look at our agenda. First, we're going to learn about some words, then we're going with the topic development, and then we're going to practice. So let's start with the words part. So you probably know these words, but I'm going to briefly explain each one of them. So get up means to stand up. Check means is another way to say to find out something. Email is an application or a website that you can use to send documents or send messages to your friends, coworkers, or parents. Study is to learn about a subject or to read. So that said, let's move on to the questions words part. You can also say WH questions. Right here, these words that you see here are very essential to make questions, and you always need to have them when you are making a question. So let's see them. I'm going to explain a little bit of each one of them. So who is used to ask about person or people? What is used to ask about things, animals, and persons too? Where is used to ask about position or place? When it is to ask about time or occasions or moments? Why is to give a reason? And how is to ask about how something, the manner of something or quality. So we have learned a little bit about these question words. Now let's see some question phrases. These are some question phrases. There are more of them. You can search them for to know more about it. So how long, how many, how much. Right here, we use how many with countable nouns and how much with uncountable nouns. So these question phrases will help us to not get confused with these other questions, because sometimes when we use these question phrases, most students are confused because they see apples. So they put apple in another place. So that's why I mentioned them here. So let's move on. Now let's learn how to create or form a question. Here I have the basic form or the basic structure how to create sentence. First, you will need to know the question words that we already learned. So the first thing you have to place or write down is the question, the WH question. Then it follows the auxiliary verb or the mother verb. Then the pronoun, it could be a subject or a possessive adjective. Or you can write down a name too. And then it follows a main verb, and last but not least, the complement. So now let's see how the structure are used in the in a question. So I have here 3 examples. So let's see each part of the question. What is our WH questions? Do is our auxiliary verb. You is our subject pronoun. And then we have the main verb, that is do. So right here, let's analyze this other question. How many apples? This is the question phrase. Then I have do, that is the auxiliary verb. Then I have you, that is the subject pronoun, and it, that is the main verb. See right here, like I was saying a few seconds ago, that it is a phrase because it needs to be joined together with how many. It needs to be and it needs to be accountable now. Countable now. So right here we have the subject. And let's see the last example. How can I pay? Right here we have the WH question. Then we have the modal verb and the subject and the main verb. You should already know about the auxiliary verb, modal verb, pronouns, and main verb. Right, in this lesson, we are just learning about how to create a question. So, having analyzed and having learned about this, how to create questions, let's move on to the practice part. I'm going to read the short paragraph about Anoa's daily routine. Then I'm going to ask you some questions and I will give you 3 seconds to think about the answer. And then I'm going to show you what could be the possible answer. And then at the end of this lesson, you are going to create a question. So right now, while I'm reading, you repeat after me in a silent way. So I wake up at 5 a.m. every weekday morning and I spend the first 45 minutes studying Korean and then 15 minutes in quiet meditation. At 6 a.m. I will check my email for 20 minutes. That's a strict 20 minutes. I will reply to emails that can be replied to in less than 2 minutes and save other emails that need a longer reply to my action today folder, which I will deal with when I have time later that day. So I'm going to ask this question, and when I ask this question, you go to the paragraph and see and look for the answer. So I'm going to say the question and I will give you 3 seconds. What time does Ainoa gets up? So the possible answer for this question is Ainoa gets up at 5 a.m. every day, or you can say at 5 a.m. if you want to say a short answer. This one, it is formal and this one is not formal. So let's continue with the next one. How much time does Ainoa study Korean? Now, you look at the passage or the paragraph and try to answer it. Try to think of it and do not write it down. Okay, the possible answer could are 45 minutes. She studies Korean at 45 meant. Now it is your turn to create the answer according to the answer, to create your question according to the answers right here. So read the answer and create the question using the structure that we have learned so far. So the question is, what time does Ainoa check her email? So this lesson was like an introduction to how to make questions, because there are lots of many questions in English. So you can use this structure to create questions in the present simple, past simple, present perfect. So it will be useful. And this is all for this lesson. Thanks for watching, and to be with me and to practice.